Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Weekend Winners in association with BetVictor, where this week we're going to be looking ahead to the feature racing on Saturday at Cheltenham. 4 contests for us to go at, so plenty to look forward to. And we're looking at these races in the usual company of Declan Ricks and Sam Boswell. Dec, you're in good form last week. Clearly the Christmas parties had no ill effect on your judgment.
Yeah, good old Shambar did us a favour over the entry fences, and Nassalam landed a tidy little gamble in the Welsh national trial. But it wasn't all about me. You chipped in and Sam's nap went in, so it was a good week all round, I think, for the show.
It really was, wasn't it? Yeah, I was going to say, Shambar probably the highlight then for us. He went off a nice price in the end, but Sam, very well done with your nap likewise. So don't pull that face.
I mean, listen, my nap was a nice winner and did it easily, but come on, Kate. Get the trumpet out. Let's be
happily.
Big prize winner for you, and a very happy belated birthday as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm still kind of here in body more so than mind, but we're here, and that's what really counts at the end of the day. And hopefully we will be finding you some more winners on this week's show. But of course, before we get stuck into the action, a reminder, as ever, to please do gamble responsibly. Our tips are not guaranteed to win, but we will still do our best to point you in the right direction. Right, we begin at Cheltenham with the 150, the December Gold Cup, a Premier Handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile, 4.5 furlongs, as I say, at 150. Competitive as ever, this race. Thunderrock heading the way as a 7-2 market leader. So, Dec, I mean, I love these 2.5 mile Premier Handicap chases at Cheltenham. We always get so many of the same characters, but who wins this one?
Yeah, it's going to be a good little race. I think probably a smaller field than you would expect than usual for this kind of Premier Handicap. But it's still very competitive, as the market suggests. But yeah, I think this race, I'm hoping, is going to be pretty straightforward. I like Thunderrock for the simple reason is I think he's the best handicap horse in the race. You know, he had a very good, solid novice season last season. You know, form behind That's All Right, Gino, The Real Whacker, Jerry Colomb, Solo, all of that collateral form now looks very solid. Also, as well, he's got a really likeable profile for the race. He's a second season chaser and only had 7 starts. Liked his comeback this season in the Colin Parker Memorial at Carlisle, where he beat the Marler Mission. That form, I wouldn't say like it was strongly franked. I'd say it was a positive given how well he ran in the Coral Gold Trophy at Newbury. You know, if he isn't going to be beating a horse who's a strong stayer like that over 2.5, you know, he really won't be winning a race like this. But I'm loving the small field for this guy because he's a hold-up horse, and I think in general you like to have a horse who's on the pace in this kind of race, don't you? And the other thing as well, there'll definitely be a handful of other horses in here, like Fugitive and whatnot, that'll be better jumpers than him. So I think the combination of a small field, maybe not an overly strong run race, that can help him. I love how he picked up and quickened at Carlisle. He looks like a horse in good order, really likeable profile for the race. Ollie Murphy in form and ridden by Sean Bowen. What more do you want?
Exactly, a man definitely in form is Sean Bowen as well. So it's Thunderrock for Dec then, Sam. Where were you looking?
Yeah, my focus came towards the head of the betting as well, and I think Dec's made a really strong case for the favourite. The one thing I would just sort of pick at is, do you think his jumping's improved enough to be a 7-2 shot round here in a race that should be run pace-wise? I suppose I agree. He was looking to try and find where the pace was coming from. But
yeah, I think he's not a bad jumper by any means, but he just doesn't. He kind of likes to maybe put in an extra stride, and he can make a mistake. You know, the likes of Fugitive, he really takes on his fences, doesn't he, and kind of gains lengths. But I'm just hoping the combination of me being of the view he's well handicapped, small field in a race that maybe won't be overly strongly run, hopefully sees him get away with it.
My selection has finished in front of yours, Dec, but then the form's been reversed as well. So I like the look of Monmoral here for Paul Nicholls, who he's won the race a couple of times, hasn't he, in the last few years, thinking about it with Frodon. And traditionally, you would want a horse looking through the form book that's carrying less than 11 stone. He ticks that box. He's, what, a pound lower in the ratings, I think, than the favourite. And I know he's got to prove something here, but I do think going back to some of his best picks of form, you know, what was he, 7 behind John Bon, 3.5 lengths behind the Real Whacker on New Year's Day. He's had the wind up. It was a disappointing end to his season when they reverted back to hurdles. I think that's fair to say. But, you know, first time out is not an issue for him. He's won, I think, 3 of his first time out starts. So I was just curious at the prices. I just thought 5 to 1's probably as short as I'd want to take. He was a little bit bigger when I put the selection in. I wouldn't want to see him get any shorter. And Harry Cobden, of course, probably had the choice of the 2 Nicholls runners. And he's gone for this one. But I know you're a fan of the other one, Kate.
Oh, very much so, yeah. I hope Harry Cobden's got it wrong, to be honest. I'm hoping that Bryony Frost on the Paul Nicholls, seemingly second string on official jockey bookings, will be the one to go in, because he is such a stalwart of these 2.5-mile Premier Handicap chases at Cheltenham, isn't he? Now, admittedly, I was asked for a selection for this race a few weeks back, an anti-post play, and Grandeur Dame was the one that I came down on the side of. I wasn't anticipating Fakir Dudery to actually run in the race, though, which has obviously pushed Grandeur Dame £3 out of the weight. So I'll still have an each-way play on him, but Il Ridoto, my main concern for him, you've both touched on it there, about the running style for this race that you seemingly need to be a prominent racer, because they don't tend to come back to them whether these races are run on the old course or the new course. And Il Ridoto, he just seems to find himself caught a little bit out of his ground and has to make up the ground in the closing stages then. I think the benefit of Bryony getting on board him rather than Freddie Gingell, who rode him last time out, taking the £5 claim off his back, is that Bryony tends to ride her horses more prominently. So I'm hoping she'll take advantage of not an out-and-out pace burn up in this race, can get Il Ridoto forwards, and he just a solid one in this race, considering we know what to expect from him. So yeah, I'm with Il Ridoto. You're with the other Paul Nicholls horse though, and Tech.
I'm with Thunder Rock, yeah. Hopefully one of us will get the winner between us.
Hopefully. We've got 3 different selections then, so plenty of disagreement in our first race, as you tend to expect from us. Now, before we move on to our next race, a reminder to subscribe to the At The Races YouTube channel and also hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. Right, up next, we again are at Cheltenham and we have another Premier Handicap chase for 4-year-olds and over. This time, though, over 3 mile 2 at 2:25. So stayers to the 4. Now, Broadway Bob has, of course, a Broadway Boy even, has been very prominent in the market, though. But Protectorate, of course, heads the weights, running off a mark of 165. But Sam, who are you siding with?
Yeah, I really like the favourite here, Kate, Broadway Boy. I like the way he's been campaigned as well this season. Obviously, ran in listed company last time out and took on Elders and was, I thought, a really, really fair winner. Nigel Twiston-Davis likes this race. You go back to Coggery, who's won it twice for him, I think, in the last couple of years. That was a different type of horse. Obviously, he's come here with this younger horse who's off a mark of 146, and I think he just has been a really nice horse to follow through the season so far. The yard ticking over nicely. I know he got beaten by Flooring Porter, and some people might say Flooring Porter next time out obviously didn't win, but if you watch that Flooring Porter run back, you really have to think he actually achieved a huge amount in where he finished, considering the run, and put him back the other way around, I think he'd be a much better horse. And yeah, I just really liked him. I like the fact that they're stepping up. I think the way he's stepped him up obviously is quite a nice way of doing it. I think the trip will absolutely be fine for him, and I'm just a really big fan. He is a little bit short now. I think 7-2. I think he was on the graphic there. I wouldn't want to take any shorter, but yeah, I think he sets a really good standard here in terms of being a horse that could just be well handicapped still.
Sam Twiston-Davis is going to be sick if he doesn't win this, isn't he? Getting back on board him now. He's missed his last 2 runs then on him when he's run really well. So Sam will be sick if he doesn't go and win this. So Broadway Boy then for Sam. Deck, where are you looking?
Yeah, Broadway Boy was high on my my shortlist as well. Very impressive on the clock last time out, I thought, at Cheltenham. But I just thought a 5-year-old going over this trip, you know, I don't think you'd ever see Nicky Henderson putting this type of horse into this kind of race. But, you know, they're rolling the dice with him, the Twiston-Davis, and he just could be a really precocious horse, even though he's quite big. In saying that, the horse that I came down is only a year older in Manila Girl, but she reminds me very much of Kitty's Light at the moment, actually. Although I was going to say the old Kitty's Light. I think Kitty's Light's only 7, but she's basically a small horse who looks to really be at home over these kind of extreme staying distances. You know, I loved what she did last time out in November meet, and I thought she was a really good winner. It's a hard race to read in some ways. I thought, you know, an £11 rise was pretty stiff, but that's going to be somewhat offset by Conor Stonewalsh's £5 claim, because I did think she had a fitness advantage over plenty of horses who were having their first run of the season, and I thought that told. But at the same time, she was badly hampered at the first. She was badly hampered later in the race as well. But just after 3 out, what I really loved for a small horse is she had to be brave and showed a bit of toe to get a gap, and once she got the gap heading to 2 out, the race was over. The other thing as well I would say is because she's a small horse, I think she carried around 11 stone 7 the last day. I think she's only going to carry around 10 stone 5 or 10 stone 4 on Saturday. Given that she's so small, carrying that less physical weight is going to be a big advantage to her, and the Gavin Cromwell team are in great order. So yeah, I wanted a horse, given it's soft ground, given it's the new course, given it's 3 mile too, I wanted a horse who's going to stay well, and this horse surely does that.
Yeah, 10 stone 4 with the £5 claim off her back, and of course Connor Stonewalsh, who is all the rage at the minute, isn't he? He had that unbelievable start to his career over obstacles, winning his first 2, wasn't it? So it must have seen a very easy game for him when he very first started, and he's still very new to this discipline as well. Now, again, we've got further disagreement in our second race. So all of those niceties of last week have completely gone out the window, because I like easy as that. Now, I was between 2. One of them's a bigger price one, but I will save that for the best bet section at the end. But easy is that the main play, though, for now, where he's another horse. He ran in the Paddy Power Gold Cup last time out. He finished 6th in that. Now, admittedly, he was beaten 21 lengths, but he was never really cited with his hold-up running style counting against him, but he really was staying on well up the home straight, where a step-up in trip just looked like what he needed, and that's exactly what he's getting here over 3 mile 2. £2 lower mark. It does see him £1 wrong at the weights, but from that drop last time out, I just think that that's really much of a muchness here. Now, he's never tried 3 miles before, let alone the extra 2 furlongs on top of that. But he did look potentially very smart last season, and he has shaped as though a step up in distance could well unlock further improvements. So hopefully easy at that. He's probably shorter in the market than I was necessarily expecting, but the traders, I'm hoping they are thinking along the same lines and they're being very clever, and hoping to dodge easy as that as well. So easy as that for me.
Would you believe that it's easy as that was high on my shortlist, as was your horse.
The tri-cast.
Maybe it's a reverse tri-cast this race. Yeah, if people are brave, but that's going to be Manila Girl for me.
There you go. Right, at least we've managed to hit his shortlist anyway. He didn't come down on the side of ours, Sam, but just to reiterate yours.
Broadway boy for me to reward Nigel Twiston-Davies's aggressive campaigning of a horse, which we need to see more of.
Yeah, we definitely do. I think we all echo those sentiments. Right, they are our selections. Do let us know your own selections in the comments section below. As we move on to the 3 o'clock for turn of the staying novice hurdlers now. This is the Grade 2 Albert Bartlett novices hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 3 miles, otherwise known as the Bristol hurdle. So plenty of horses who could still be anything, Sam, at this stage. So who wins this one?
Yeah, I went through the race, and I'll be honest, on what we know, it's probably a bit more of a watching race than a get too serious involved race. But pushed for a selection, I came back around to Shanghai Bob right at the front of the betting for Nicky Henderson. If you watch that Plumpton run back, which you can do on the at the races app, it's everything a horse. He hates that track. It's clear it doesn't suit. We're going to see the footage here. It doesn't really suit him. He kind of really only gets going up the home straight. The step up in trip is absolutely tailor-made for him. You can throw out the cliche about him winning a 3 mile point to point, but we see horses win point to points that want to come back in trip. I wouldn't hold that against him. But this horse, just watching his rules debut, he really needed every yard, and I think that might have perhaps been a shade underwhelming to some. It wasn't the strongest race in the world. The second's an okay horse, and he was 2 to 9 favourite, so you know he's done what he's expected. But if you listen to the comments that came from the rider that day, it was very much a case of he did so much wrong and still won. Going up in trip should really suit this type of track, should be right up his street, and I expect him to take high order in these sort of staying hurdlers for the season. He's probably a longer term project. His point to point, if you're interested in point to point form, do flick through it. The second has done well since. I think even the fifth's gone and won a couple of races. So you know, I don't like to read too much into that, but it's another positive and another tick in his box.
Yeah, definitely so. And he's a horse where at the head of the market, I feel that he's going to divide opinion, and whichever side of a fence you sit on, I think you're going to think that that's a fair price, whichever way you want to go with him, because you can say at one side that he's unbeaten from his 2 starts so far, he has top connections associated to him, he could still be anything. Or you could be on the reverse side and you could say, well, he only won a Plumpton novice last time out as a 2 to 9 favourite. beating a 113 rated horse into second. Why is he this prominent in the market and why is he all the rage? But I'd be more on the positive side of the fence with you, Sam, though, because of the visual impression that he left last time out, where he was so green, having to dictate as well. So I'm hoping the step back up in trip, like say to the point-to-point form than previously of 3 miles, will see him to a better effect. And I'm hoping he'll establish himself as one of the smartest novice hurdlers about at this present time. So we're both in agreement. Finally, some agreement there.
The first gang up of the show has finally happened. It's interesting. I'm obviously against you guys here, and I sit on the other side of the fence. I think Shanghai Bob, I think he's just priced up in reputation. I think he's priced up on his 200k figure that he made at the sale, priced up Nicky Henderson training him and the Donnellys owning him. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he can't win. Always a stupid thing to say about a horse in this game, but I just, on his form, he does not deserve to be that short. So look, I'm happy to take him on, and I've got a topical selection this week. If for anyone who's been listening to the COVID inquiry, it's Destroy the Evidence. I really like this horse. Now look, the worries are obvious. He's never been on a stiff track like Cheltenham. A lot of his form is come on flat tracks, and you know the other thing as well, maybe kind of soft December Cheltenham ground could be a negative for him as well. But like, this lad bolted up off a mark of 122 at Kempton last time out, and he was heavily eased. You know, I think that the official handicapper gave him a rating of 129. I thought he potentially could have gone even higher. And you know, with that kind of good form in the book, that's a much higher level of form than what Shanghai Bob has achieved so far, in my view. But you're getting a much bigger price. I'm a self-confessed Kim Bailey fanboy, absolutely no doubt. I think Kim has done, you know, people forget how successful he was earlier in his career. Things, you know, went a little bit hit and miss for him after such as life, but he's rebuilt himself up and he's done really well. And you might find a little gem in this horse, because this Destroy the Evidence's dam is actually a half-sister to Long Run, and he's by Keftar. He's bred to be a proper horse, and I think he is a proper horse. If he handles the track and if he handles the ground, I think he will go very close, especially with all that experience and good jumping on his side against a field of mostly kind of inexperienced and raw types. So yeah, another one for Destroy the Evidence this week.
You talk about his pedigree, you forgot his half-brother wiped WhatsApp as well, but Destroy the Evidence then for Deck. But we're going to both side with the potential, hopefully then, with Shanghai Bob. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comment section below as we move on to the 3:35 at Cheltenham. Now, this is a mare's handicap hurdle for 4-year-olds and over 2 mile 4. A really good looking renewal of this race, I thought, as well. Bonte, of course, has been heading the betting all week here. But I'm going to kick us off because I really like Wind to the Lightning here, who's a 7-to-1 shot, 4th in the betting there. Now, I'm concerned about Nurse Susan. She could well be an absolute handicap plot job then here, but of course she did have that lengthy layoff. We're still not entirely sure where we are with her. Could she even bounce from that last run? So Wind to the Lightning is a solid play for me. I really like Coquelicot and Theatre Glory as well, but I'm sticking with the Ollie Greenall and Josh Guerriero team. Now, this mare, she was so progressive last season, winning 3 of her 5 hurdle starts. The only defeats coming on her hurdle debut, and then in the mare's final handicap hurdle at Cheltenham in April, where she was only beaten a length and a half anyway. But she got right back to it last time out at Wetherby on her reappearance. She took on the boys. She won in a canter. She's been whacked up £12 for that. But she looked an improved model yet again last time out. So I think she's really smart. And she will need to be, clearly, to be taking on this calibre of mare. But she has that Cheltenham form, remains progressive and is one to keep on side. So Wind to the Lightning, to me, is a feasible one at a decent enough price in what is such a competitive contest, though, Sam. So, yeah, where did you look?
What? How are you going to Sam here? I'm also with Wind to the Lightning.
Oh, we got some more.
We're myself and Katie Tracey are doubling down again this week. Yeah, so I'm going to jump in here, Sammy boy. I really like her as well. It'd be interesting to see if we can get the betting up against there, because it was kind of I wanted to take on a lot of the horses to the front of the market. Botany steps up and trip for the first time. She's a keen goer, soft ground, the new course. Is that really the type of kind of race you want to try your stamina on? Not for me. Theatre Glory Rory, I think, wants much better ground, if I'm being brutally honest. And her jumping is her big asset. There's only 2 flights jumped, I think, in the last 6 or 7 furlongs, isn't there? Nurse Susan, the third favourite, who I know someone else is keen on in this race, you know, I think she's a candidate to bounce. I was a little bit disappointed with her last time out at Exeter, given how well she jumped. So, yeah, well, it came down on Win to the Lightning. Look, as much as you said, Kate, she's very likeable. I think this is her ideal trip, 2.5. She looked really progressive last time out at Weatherby, took a massive step forward. I think she deserved her raise, given how easily she won that day. And the other thing with her is you go down through her pedigree, she's related to horses like Cheltenham Festival winner Spring Heeled, Top Class Chaser, Central House. She's bred to be good, and I think now, as a 5-year-old going on 6-year-old, we're finally starting to see it. So yeah, Win to the Lightning for me and Katie Tracey against you, Sammy boy.
Further bolstered. There we go. There we had it. And not to give anything away, Sam, but you're not agreeing with us.
No, not at all. No, I respect your views, but I'm prepared to take the chance. Dan Skelton, write him off at your peril that he can achieve things, because, as you pointed out, Nurse Susan off for a very long time. What was it, 600 and something days? The Exeter run. Let's discuss that. So, yeah, I agree. Shade disappointing, was sent off 3-1 favourite that day. But it came at a time where, do you remember Dan Skelton was just saying a few of his actually were needing their first run, as opposed to what we'd usually expect with Dan, which way he could get them out first time they'd win. The back form of this horse is so exciting for me. 2.5 lengths down on Love Envar at Lingfield, then obviously 4th in the Mares Novice. I really, really do like this horse, and I just... The more I looked at the race, the more I was willing to take the chance. 6-1 is probably starting to get as short as I'd want to go, but I think she's a really nice type. And many moons ago, I used to work for the previous sponsor of this race, and it's run basically in the dark. If you're going to Cheltenham, please go and clap the winner in. Hopefully it's Nurse Susan for me, because no one used to stand there in the freezing cold in the last race of the day, but do, because it's a cracking little renewal. Coquelicot also made my shortlist, as well as your selection, guys. But for me, I'm all over Dan Skelton's mare here. And I think Dan, if there's any man that can do it for a horse of a lay like this, Dan can.
It's interesting, Sam's referenced all the elements there, and we're with Win to the Lightning, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Very topical for our... Are you concerned about the bounce factor?
No.
Do you feel that that's a long enough time? 26 days?
I'll be honest, Kate, I think I'm very guilty of overthinking this bounce factor. And also, I'd be more... This sounds a bit perplexing, maybe. If she'd bounced out and won that race, you know, she just blew up a little bit, I think it's fair to say. And I think in a silly way, I'd probably factor the bounce in more when a horse is a very well-backed winner off a break and then tries to follow it up.
Well, I think that's the actual true meaning of the bounce. I think it's actually an American kind of terminology, isn't it? It's basically where you achieve a career best off a long layoff, and then second time out you don't run your race. But that clearly wasn't the case with Nurse Susan last time.
It's true, because like you say, you capitalise almost off of a freshness angle, isn't it? Where a horse is well, feeling fresh, and then they return too soon and they dip way below that. But yeah, she clearly wasn't 100% tuned up then for that Davy start, and she could have a whole heap in hand here. So I am wary, but we're still going to take you on anyway with Win to the Lightning for Deck and I. Sam, though, with Nurse Susan. Again, do let us know your own selections in the comment section below as we head over to the Sky Pad to give you our best bets for the weekend. Right, it's best bets of the weekend time. So, Deck, we've got loads to go at. What were your best bets?
We do. We are going to go to Hereford on Saturday for the best bet, and it's going to be Western Zephyr for the Charlie Longsdon team. This is definitely a race you should be tuning in to watch on Sky Sports Racing on Saturday. 2-mile chasing at its best. A lot of good jumpers, a lot of strong travellers here. Going to be a cracker, but I think Western Zephyr will come out on top. Really taken to his 2 chase runs this season. He looks a natural over fences, to be honest, at Carlisle and at Sandown. And I think this is the easiest race he's had so far of the season. So yeah, make sure you tune into Sky Sports Racing on Saturday to watch this. The next best we've already covered, that's going to be Manila Girl. So I'm going to move on swiftly to the long shot, which is going to be Zestville in the last race at Cheltenham on Saturday in the Mares race. I think she's going to love 2 things: getting a strong pace to run at and going back up to 2.5 miles. She's quite a keen goer, but she's got an engine, this filly, and if she's in good order, I think she'll go close. Loved her run last time out in the 4-year-old limited handicap hurdle at Chepstow behind Shared. She shaped a hell of a lot better than the distance beaten. I think she was just a combination of outpaced and needed the race from 2 out. If she steps forward from that with stamina over 3 miles in the bank, I can see her going well at a very big price. Please.
Hereford for a nap this weekend. I can completely understand why you've done that, though, but like there's a lot. Sam?
Yeah, before we get to my best bets though, Kate, I've got a Christmas present for the viewers at home.
Oh, wonderful.
You guys have been nagging me. Oh, your traders are a bit tight. You know, I want a better price on my naps. So what we've decided to do, we're going to have a dedicated weekend winners boosted page. All you'll need to do, click the link in the YouTube, or there should be a magical QR code appearing somewhere below me. Scan it. The only people that are going to get access to that are people that are watching this show. So that's what you need to do. Each week we'll have various specials on there. We'll be boosting our naps. We'll probably put our naps into some sort of treble, which will be an enhanced price. And it's dynamic as well. So if the naps drift, which sometimes decks do, you'll get a bigger price as well. Because sometimes they win as well, deck, in fairness. So, like I say, make sure everyone checks that out. Right, on to the bets for the weekend. I am apparently going to be some sort of Harry Fry fanboy for the weekend because two of his horses appear in my best bet section. We'll kick off with the Nap. I'm heading for Cheltenham and a really interesting 2-mile chase here. Calcio was actually favourite for this race when betting opened, and now my horse I think has ended up around a 2-to-1 chance, which is Excelsis Duo. I really like this JP McManus horse, lightly raced and has a little bit of a patchy record over fences, but I definitely think the mark is workable. 15-8 at time of recording. Very keen on him. The next best, Gin Coco, did us all a good turn. I think I definitely put him up at Ascot last time out. Only being put up £4 for that effort. This looks a competitive hurdle, handicap hurdle, I should say, at Doncaster, the 240. But I'm really keen that the horse can go back to back. I think the profile of this horse suggests that there's a bit more to come. And then Dex already mentioned Hereford, and they've got a really interesting card on there. Good prize money as well. It's a series final. And Spitfire Girl for the Snowden team heads here. Will Featherstone, I think, is going to take off a handy 10. Right down the foot of the weights as well. I think this horse could be well treated. Will probably be a big price because there's some classy animals in there. But fair play, good prize money, has attracted a decent field. I think we've got double figure field in here for a £35,000 race, and I think we'll be an each way play.
Another one at Hereford. Now, I'm guessing you didn't go to a Catholic school.
No.
Random question, I know.
No.
But in Excelsis Deo, great hymn. Great hymn that is. So if any of you did go to any Catholic schools, do let us know your own favourite hymn in the comment section below. I'm not going to ask Sam because clearly you don't have a favourite hymn.
Clearly not God-fearing, it seems.
No, apparently not then. But but that is Excelsis Deo then. As for Nap, excited to see exactly what that horse can do in the green and gold of JP McManus. Now my own Nap is actually going to be Il Ridoto. I went around the houses for a Nap this weekend because I found it just one of those really tricky ones to find that one really solid, confident, winning bet, hopefully. So I thought, why not decide with Il Ridoto, probably in the most competitive race of the entire weekend. But for all of the aforementioned reasons in the December Gold Cup, you just know he's going to win another one of these. For all that Fakir Duduris has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works in this year's race, but I still think Il Ridoto will run his usual race. Hopefully he's ridden a bit more prominently than usual. Easy as that. Again, a horse that I mentioned earlier on in the 3-mile 2. Premier handicap chase, so both my next best and my long shot actually go in the same race at 2.25. Now, easy as that is £1 wrong at the weights, thanks to Protectorat being in the race. So Fakir Duduris and Protectorat running these handicaps, great to see. It's slightly messed around my trends then for these races, but easy as that is going to be my next best bet. And my long shot is actually going to be back on the lash in the same race. He's currently the outsider of the field. Now, a horse that hasn't been seen to any effect of late. He's getting the first-time cheek pieces. Might just be a bit of desperation. It's the first time he's had any headgear since he wore a hood, believe it or not, in his early days. So finally getting this bit of headgear on. He's going back to his favourite place and he's very, very well treated, as we know, at the weight. So they are my best bets. They are the lads' best bets. And that's everything from us on this week's show. So a big thank you to Deck and to Sam for all of their hard work, as per usual. A big thank you to you at home for watching. Do enjoy the action this weekend. And we will be back at the same time next week even, to look ahead to the best of the festive action.